Welcome to the show today, our interview. Let me check my notes and see who we have here. Today we have Joe. Yeah, there he is. He is the storyteller of Energy to Happiness, a competing yoga, struggling dancer, and a person I used to not like. Welcome, Joe.
Well, thank you. Well, I didn't like you either for a long time, so I guess the feeling's mutual. But thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a story or two on how you discovered the importance of breathing?
Oh, sure. I could definitely lots of stories, but I'll just keep it to two. The first when I was in the Navy, I actually got electrocuted.
Electrocuted?
Yeah, I know, right? Great. Yeah, electrocuted. Um, I guess I was in the wrong. I didn't have the right equipment. I was trying to pull a fuse. I had a hand on the metal box in there, and something happened, and I got hit by a very, powerful. Threw myself across the whole engine room, and I just remember like going, like it just started going black, and something just told me like, dude, you're panicking. Like just
Right,
just
breathe.
start to breathe. I don't think I was breathing, and then slowly after a few breaths, and I think I was like, I don't know how long it was, but eventually, I got up. I was alone in the engine room at the time, and boy, that was like a real eye opener of how breath,
Oh,
really
yeah.
got me out of that jam. And then, once I started breathing, like it's like the light came back. But there for a while, I was really,
Yeah, it's
really
scary.
scared. And luckily, I didn't panic, and I got myself through it. But then that tool went right back in the box, right? You think
Of
I
course.
would use that every day, and no, it
Yeah.
basically, went back into the toolbox. And then later in life, when I was kind of at my, rock bottom, I was in a social situation out in a restaurant, and I remember, starting to worry about, my stomach. Am I going to need to use the bathroom, and
Oh,
disappointing my partner. It was just
of
like the
course.
worst situation, and it just kept spiraling where I had to leave the restaurant. I was sick again, and I remember just sitting in the car, and I was like, I just didn't want this anymore. And I kind of remember that time when I got electrocuted, and I remember sitting there, imagine, in the car in a full sweat, windows down, just spiraling out of control, stomach just like, you're going to be ill. And I just started to breathe, and I shut my eyes, and I just kind of pictured this blue, like a blue box, just kind of, circulating, and it just allowed my mind to focus on something else than my problems. And after some breaths, I felt myself actually, really starting to cool down, and starting to get control. But there again, once the situation was over, put it back in
Of
my
course.
toolbox. I didn't know I could actually, use it every day like I
Yeah.
do now. But there were two that really, really
Yeah, we
stood
all do
out.
that. Wow, that was some powerful stuff. Can you share us your favorite breathing technique and why?
Oh, sure. So, everybody has a different journey. Everybody, finds their breath differently, or why they're using it. You know a little bit more about me. I've come from a place of fear, anxiety. So I focus on breathing techniques around that. Where other folks, athletes, people that are successful, they don't have the emotional baggage. They have some other ones. But for me, the 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, right? So the very controlled in through the nose, the very controlled out through the nose is my favorite, just for the calming aspects, and it really helps me get out of challenging situations rather than, put stuff in my emotional backpack like we talked
Yeah, I'll
about.
remember that the next time, I'm in a challenging situation. But now the tough question. Can you share a recent story and how you're applying your breathing skills to it?
Yeah, that is a little bit tougher question. Um, sure, I'll give you two. I'll give you one of success, and one that I'm still working on. So here recently, I was traveling somewhere. Guess where?
Kauai.
Right, obviously,
Kauai.
Kauai. Earlier this year for a yoga retreat, which is really special. Every trip there to me is special. But this time, and my history with airplanes, crashing airplanes, we were actually flying back from Kauai, and we were an hour or so off the island. So we're in the middle of basically the Pacific, and sure enough, the airplane had a problem. It lost cabin pressure. All the air masks came out of the ceiling, And I tell you, I was like,
What?
I've been to this rodeo, right? And I'm gonna do this a little
Oh
differently.
man.
I can't control what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you, I was definitely still afraid, right? You know, swimming hours to the island, you know. But then I was like, no, get those visions out of your mind. If that happens, you know, you need to be ready if that happens. And you sitting here panicking is gonna put you in a situation, you know, back to, you know, breathe, 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 and then react. Don't start reacting at this point, you know. So, and sure enough, it took about an hour. They turned the plane around. They got it down to a safe altitude, but you still didn't know what was going on. It was like a prolonged state of panic is the only way I can describe it. But I knew, just keep
Oof.
breathing. I didn't want to put
Oh.
anything back in my emotional backpack for this
Yeah,
again,
right.
right?
Yeah.
I worked so hard to get it out.
Yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
if I could turn this into a positive, that wouldn't happen. And sure enough, you know, we get there safely. We got to spend 3 extra days in Honolulu. It was actually 2 days. So there again, I made it mine. I didn't let it rule me. Right? I'm driving the steamroller in life. It's not gonna. I'm not under it. And sure enough, 2 days later, I got on a plane. The anxiety was not there, right? Because you know I didn't allow it to
Good for you.
to
Yeah.
affect me. So that's one where I'm actually, you know, applying it recently, and it's still kind of working, you know, for me. My favorite breathing technique. And what I have to work on,
Good for you.
I don't know how to say this, but I find myself getting very angry at other humans, and I can't control them. And it really has to do with plastic. I live near water, and I'm horrified to see the plastic. I mean, people come here, they have no respect. It's just incredible. But there again, I know I can't control them, and I need to take this energy and do something else with. But in the meantime, I'm realizing when I am getting angry, like, no, right? So I don't have an answer for it yet, but I know putting my energy and breathing and not allowing the anger to overtake me is the way out. You know, not starting fights on the street because, you know, people are doing stupid things, which they are.
Yeah, I understand totally. Would you like to close with any remarks?
Yeah, sure. To kind of, my closing statement is, you know, take the time for yourself. You know, breathing is an easy thing, but it's a powerful thing. And don't think it's selfish, because, you know, for you to be the best mom, for you to be the best dad, the best yogi, the best mountain biker, you know, the best friend, you need to be your best. And that really starts, you know, with breathing. You can't serve others if you're in a hospital bed or not here, right? So don't think of this as a selfish thing. It's like brushing your teeth, right? So,
Well, thank you, Joe. That was good stuff, and spending
yeah, well,
time.
thanks for
Yeah,
having me too. And there again, everybody, don't forget, you know,
of course.
start
Thank you,
breathing.
Joe. We're gonna say goodbye.
Enjoy. Talk to you soon.